Yay Media Group.
Well, Alma and the Wolf looks terrifying, dude. I watched the trailer.
It's a comedy, too. It's also a comedy.
Oh, I thought it was straight up horror thriller.
There's a 9-foot wolf puppet in it that's surrounded by a bunch of human-bodied goats.
Oh, I didn't realize.
That is comedy for sure.
Yeah.
Hey dude, I think the 90s are calling.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Hey Dude, the 90s Called. I'm David Lasher, and I'm here with my partner in nostalgia, Christine Taylor.
Hi, David. Hi everybody.
How are you?
I'm really good. I've been forgetting to show you something very special that a fan made for us both, but it gets to live in my house kind of because when we went to, and it's been on a shelf and I've been forgetting and I remembered finally to put it in front of me. But when we went to 90s Con last year, a really terrific fan named Coyote came up and talked to us, and there's some pictures that we took with him that I'm showing.
Yeah.
And he made me a little card. And this year when I went for the craft and he makes toys. Okay. He's a huge fan of ours. He's a fan of Hey Dude. He's a fan of our podcast. Oh my God. I'm getting the toy here. So he gave me this lunchbox that I'm showing.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
That's
and
awesome.
Inside the lunchbox is a thermos that had our logo on there.
Oh my God. That's straight out of like grade school.
Yes, but it gets better. Then he made this. It's, I guess because, okay, so it's do you remember Polly Pockets? Did your daughters ever play with Polly Pockets?
Yes,
so he did this.
I remember that.
So it's a Hey Dude the 90s called Polly Pocket with Central Perk because of Friends, me being on Friends. You open it and look at this. I'm not kidding you guys. So he showed me all of this. He opened this and showed it to me. This is us up here, David. This is us on the couch.
Oh my God.
Sitting, doing our podcast. It's me on Friends down here. And he literally made hair because my character Bonnie on Friends, I had hair in the and then I shaved my head. So the doll, you can take the little hair off and she becomes bald. It's too tiny for me to do.
Oh, this is too much. This is like a piece of art.
Yes. He put Ben in there because Ben was on Friends with the little, it was a duck, but he put a chicken. I mean, it's so detailed. And
that's incredible.
Isn't that the coolest thing? So I want to give a shout out to our dear friend, Coyote, who is like, I would say one of our number one fans. And I wanted to give a shout out to these amazing toys that he makes. And I don't know if he sells, I think it's his hobby, but I just had to show it off because it's so cute.
I love it. I want to dive into that world.
I know.
It looks really
when
fun.
I see you in New York, I'll show it to you up close. But
or take a photo.
If our kids
and
were
send it to me.
I will. I'll send it to you.
Maybe we'll post it.
So thank you, Coyote, for being such a good number one fan and for your incredible,
awesome.
That's a work of art.
And I know I texted you about this, but a comedian that I had worked with recently told me that he saw a screening of the Brady Bunch at the New Beverly Cinema, which I believe is owned by Quentin Tarantino, right?
Is that where they do old movies? They show them?
Yes.
That's so cool.
But he said the screening was packed and the audience was like roaring with laughter. I guess the girl who played Cindy was there at the screening. It was like a big event, like a Brady Bunch screening.
So fun. Olivia Hack played Cindy. And
but how cool that like the movie just like, lives and it's still
I know. I would have
people
loved to have gone to it if I even knew about it. But that is amazing. That was so cool to hear. I love that there's theaters like that will show, cult classics and old cool movies.
It made me smile to hear that.
Yes.
So we have a great guest today. A very old friend of mine from the White Squall days, and Wasn't it Robin Tunney who brought this up?
Yes, it wasn't.
About
Isn't this
possibly-
so funny? Because yes, we all did this panel together at 90s Con where we did a sort of crossover of Empire Records and The Craft with Robin
Right.
being the, common denominator there. And I said hi to Ethan because I'd only seen him very quickly when he came on our podcast a couple years ago in a Zoom box. So Robin was like, Ethan would be amazing. Let me send you his info. And she basically brokered the deal to get Ethan to come on. And I don't think we had to twist his arm.
Yeah, no, I'm so grateful. He's one of the most talented, funniest, genuine people I know. Let's welcome in Ethan Embry.
Here we go.
Oh,
Hi.
sweet.
What's up,
Hi.
Hello.
Double E.
Hello.
Guys, we got
What's
Ethan.
up, Lasher?
Oh man, it's so good to see you, buddy.
It's so good to be here. I have a confession to make. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
So
tell.
we made this appointment in May or something,
Yes.
and I put it in my little iPhone calendar.
Mhm.
And I'm addicted to sewing right now, like addicted.
To what?
Wait. All
And,
right. Well,
yeah,
finish the
like-
story and then we've got to go back to this.
I was up in my sewing room. I've converted a
sewing.
room in my house to there's like thread and fabric everywhere and irons and I'm up there like do putting belt loops and zippers on stuff. And then my iPhone goes, "Hey dude, podcast 30 minutes." I'm like, "Oh my god." I ran down. You should have seen it. It was
Oh
it was
my
comedy.
God.
Sonny and me yelling at Sonny, "I need help." She's trying to get a little tan on the patio. What? Where is the converter for the?
You went from a
it
peaceful sewing, which sounds very meditative, to complete chaos.
Complete chaos.
Well,
Yeah.
thank
But
you.
the chaos is over.
But
Yeah,
your
we're back
shot
to
is
chill.
beautiful. Like you look like it's so beautifully composed.
It's
you
cinematic.
are well lit. You look like you've got a nice
I had
tan.
hired Panavision crew to come in a few weeks ago when we booked this to set it all up. And
True dedication.
You are an artist, my friend. Wait, what kind of
Okay.
sewing do you do? You make
Yeah,
clothes?
let's go there.
yeah, I've been making clothes. It started because I like making gifts for people. I had been doing a lot of carpentry, making things for like my best friend. I made him a snare drum. I made Sonny a table and a painting easel. I made my son a changing table for my new grandson, like a little changing table dresser combo.
Wait,
So I was
did you
doing that
say
for a while.
grandson?
Yeah, we'll come back to that.
Yeah. Oh my
Okay,
God. There
whoa.
is so much to talk about. All right.
But then, so I wanted to make Sonny a jacket for Valentine's Day. And so I banged it out. I had a sewing machine and I banged out this like wool denim jacket and I just fell in love with it. And I've been going insane lately, like just jeans. I made this shirt.
Okay. You're
Whoa.
you're not even giving us because like you're making it sound like this is so easy to do and it's not. When did you
do? I think that the thing is, once you start doing it, it does. It's a skill,
right?
and the first time you do it, it sucks.
Yeah.
But as you do it more and more and more, you develop a skill. There's tons of people out there that have video classes, workshops that you can take.
Okay.
The difference is you know how it is. When we're working, we're working. But when we're not working, we have this time.
Yeah.
And I find that if I don't fill that time with something that keeps my brain going, I
Yeah,
get
something
unhappy
creative.
places.
Right?
Yeah.
You're creating. Wait, so you'll take like just a big piece of denim and turn it into a denim jacket?
I haven't made a denim jacket yet. I want to really bad. I'm gonna see if I can get. But I
Oh,
made
dude,
these.
that shirt is dope, man.
I am done. You made
I made these
those
jeans.
jeans?
Yeah, I made the rivets.
Oh my God.
holy moly. This is mind blowing to me.
Too
because
old to do that.
I can't. I know. You literally
about
stood on your chair.
What about a Embry brand of clothing? Is that
I was
possible?
thinking, yeah, it is.
That would be cool.
It would. So one of the reasons why it like totally accelerated. I'm a raw denim guy. I'll buy a pair of jeans and wear them every day for 5 years until they're just threads, and then go
Yeah,
get
me
another
too.
pair. And it had come to the time that I needed a new pair of jeans, and I went to the spot that I normally buy them and looked at the prices, and I was just like, I'm not. And I get it, because I don't want to shun people charging that, because it's a very difficult thing to do.
Right.
It takes a lot of time.
Right.
One
Right.
pair is an entire day.
Mhm.
And then when like material costs, all of that kind of stuff, I get it. But I needed some new clothes. So
And if you can make it, then why spend that much?
if I can learn how to make it.
Right.
But you learned out of necessity. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
But I kid you not, I had literally a couple of dresses that I wanted hemmed, like just a couple of things that I wanted shortened. And I was like, here, the dry cleaners, they're amazing. There's amazing seamstresses. I am a big supporter of small businesses and I love giving. But I was like, man, it would be so great if I could just do that hem and then I could have that dress available to me instead of waiting the week or the 5 days or whatever. And you're telling me
You could do it.
I know it's just, but
There's a small investment. You got to get a machine.
right.
There's supplies involved, and there's a time investment.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to start with your fancy dress that you
Right.
want to wear on Friday.
Right. You start with a little scarf or something.
this is
a piece
starting-
of old fabric, an old pillowcase. Right.
This is starting to sound like a Martha Stewart podcast.
We're going to get to the criminality later.
Yes, we
man.
will. But what I'd like to do, I'd like to start and go back, if you don't mind, to young Ethan Randall and your origins. And I mean, I'm looking here that you did over 100 TV commercials. Is that possible?
I did a lot of commercials.
Yeah. Tell us
I
about
never
how you started.
Well, so I started acting. I grew up in Los Angeles, born and raised. One brother, older brother, younger sister.
Wait, by the way, how are they? I love your family so much. They were
doing
with
good.
us.
They're doing really good.
Yeah. Will you send them my love, please?
I absolutely will. My sister will be thrilled to hear from you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She's great. She has a little baby boy now. Not even baby. He's 4.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. But it started, my parents were very, it's either lower middle class or upper lower class. My dad was a dental technician, made dentures. And his workshop was in our garage. So he's also very creative, because they're dentures, but it's like jewelry for your mouth.
Right.
Wow.
It's your the fine motor skills, right? So that's
Yes.
obviously
Yeah.
genetic.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yep. And we were homeschooled.
Right.
Not to go down a weird place, but I was first wave Christian nationalist. Don't let the state teach your children.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I was home all day. And I was a lot, as you know, from my earlier work, and still to this day, like, I've only been sitting for 10 minutes and I've already stood up 6 times. I was a lot to deal with all day. And my mom wanted to find what we excelled at. That was one of the things she wanted to do. And for my brother, that was music. My sister is she's so good at everything that she never nailed down one craft. She acting, dance, writing. She's a potter right now.
And your bro always had a guitar in his hand.
Yeah, guitar and piano.
That Insomnia Cafe. I still remember that.
In Paris.
Yeah. The Paris. We'll get to that.
I can't. Ooh, I cannot wait.
But so there was one summer, the start of it, my mom saw a community theater in our local town. It was Bellflower, California, a suburb of Los Angeles. And there was like a little community theater thing. They were putting on Pinocchio. I think I was 8 at the time. I auditioned for it, got Pinocchio, did that, had a blast.
Was that your first audition?
It was my first. Yeah. I was, I had never done anything before.
So your first audition
theater thing.
Yes.
Yeah, but you got the lead role.
Yeah.
Noting.
I don't know how many other 8-year-old dudes showed up.
Right. Still impressive.
But then I did another play, an equity play out of Pasadena. It was for the Nutcracker. And I did that because I could do a backflip because I was in gymnastics. And Jack Be Nimble, I played Jack Be Nimble. Jack Be Nimble, Jack Be Quick. He can, does a whatever over the candlestick.
He does whatever he does.
Yeah, he does. And there was an agent there. And that agent, he was mainly commercial child agency. Like, hey, join the agency. And I did. And from that point on, from like 9 to 12, because I did commercials for those first 3 years, 11 or 12, something like that. It was multiple auditions a day. Did you ever do commercial stuff when you were a kid, David?
Oh yeah, man. I was in high school. I would take the train into New York, into Manhattan, and I would,
because you were in New York.
Yeah, but I would run around all afternoon. It was so fun to me. I didn't even care if I got them. It was like the camaraderie with some of the other actors that I was friends with, and just the freedom of running around Manhattan at 14 years old by myself. It was just super cool. Christine, you did as well, right?
Yeah. Did you do commercials when you were a kid? Yeah.
Yeah, but it was like 16. My mom, we were from Pennsylvania, so my mom would drive me in and like
into the city.
Into the city. It was like an almost 2-hour drive. So I would like knock out a few, and you'd start to see all the usual suspects, like all the same people that carbon copies of your type of what you looked like, but different versions. But exactly. Yes.
And so you guys both know, like when you're doing, there's multiple a day. So you're jumping all over the place.
Yep.
And having grown up in LA, there was no travel we could take whatever audition was submitted. And then you add the radio spot too. That big number includes radio too. I did a lot of radio spots.
What were your favorite commercials? Like, are there any that stand out to you that when they came, that everyone saw them?
As far as everyone saw them, I don't know, because I was still in a white nationalist Christian cult, so I didn't know what anybody was talking about.
Oh, you were in a bubble. Okay.
Yeah. But my favorite, remember before kids shows, networks would have like little vignettes, like The More You Know.
Yes, of course.
Just for kids. And some of them would be like dance numbers. There was one I did about making sure that you're yourself. I played this guy who a really cute girl moved into his house next door, and they're moving their stuff from the truck into the house, and he's looking at this window. He's like, I really want to say hi to her, but I can't just go up being me. So I imagined like me as a football player, and I was a horrible football player. I imagined myself as a cop, and I shot myself in the foot. I imagined myself as Indiana Jones, and I cracked so I was like, and it goes back to reality. She'll never like me. And I just happened to bump into her, and she's really sweet and kind to me. And I say something about being yourself. That one's rad.
Yeah, that's not only
find it on YouTube. It's really good.
Oh, great. Oh, we got to see that.
It's a good message, and it sounds like a little play, like a little short film or something.
Yeah, music, so cool. Animation,
My first commercial, I said the word G, and the announcer said, no, GTE. Do you remember those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
I had one line, G. But Ethan, what was your was Dutch your first big project?
That was my first, yes. That was my first main role. I had done, there's a really great Albert Brooks Meryl Streep movie, Defending Your Life.
Oh my God!
And I had a really small part in that. Yeah, really small, one of the flashback scenes. But I still remember going into Albert's office at Warner Brothers and how sweet he was, and just my audition was just hanging out with him.
No way.
And I think I did 2 or 3 days on that.
I honestly, I think that is one of the greatest comedies ever made by.
It's a great movie.
A comedic legend.
Such a good movie. Yes.
Yeah, it's a great movie. Yeah, it still holds up too. I saw it a couple of years ago, and I think it's
Yes,
still really
it
great.
does. It
Yeah.
does
Yeah.
hold up 100%. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Now I have to go back and look at you, find you in it. Another
I
excuse
would
to watch it
imagine
again.
that because that was back, when you work with kids, you want to know how are they on set. I don't know that it happened, but I imagine that John Hughes and Peter Feynman, who did Dutch, wouldn't have just jumped into the water with me. I would imagine somebody taught, like, how is he? How are the parents? You know?
Mhm,
So
mhm.
I don't know how accurate it is, but I have always thought if that didn't happen, I don't think Dutch would have happened.
Right.
You know?
It gave you some credibility. Wait, I didn't know
Yeah.
John Hughes. John Hughes directed Dutch?
He didn't direct it. He wrote and produced it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, yeah. Which is why it's Uncle Buck, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
I blended into exactly. No, it's. I mean, but it's such a feel good. It is.
That one holds up too. That's one of those good like '90s. Ed O'Neill is just so great.
What was it like working with Ed?
He's amazing, man. He's a good dude.
I've heard.
He really is a good dude. Because he found his success much later in life.
Had he done Married with Children? He had, right?
Yes. He had started doing Married.
Yeah.
It was a hit, but it was at the earlier phases of the Married fame. I think he had done 2 or 3 years on it.
Mhm.
But up until then, he lived a blue collar life into his 30s.
Wow.
Flipping burgers, truck driving. He played college football. And then the story I've heard was that he was an understudy in New York at the time of his Married with Children audition, and got the opportunity to go out and test for it, and decided to leave his current gig to try that.
Wow.
Because he was the understudy.
Amazing.
I can't remember what play it was that I heard, but
and it's so interesting is here you are having big feature film success at such a young age, working with a guy who had to wait well into his 30s. Such a different perspective.
Which I'm really glad because the way he, and whether or not I've been able to live up to this is another thing entirely. But he made it clear to me that what we were doing is no more important than what anyone else on the set is doing.
Oh, good.
I remember him sitting down and being like, they're going to give you everything you want. They're going to give you things you don't want. They're going to wait on you hand and foot. It's all bullshit. We're just doing a job just like everybody else. Don't let it go to your head.
What a great lesson at a young age.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's a mentor.
Yeah.
And for you to hold your own with him, I mean, that is like, for you to have done commercials and done a little part in a movie, and then you're basically a co-star, a co-lead.
And I think
of this big movie.
For that too, I think it points to because how much he took me in to, how kind he was to me, how a partner he made me feel when we were there working. Like I felt part of that little group.
And did it come easily to you? I mean, did it sort of, you've obviously used your first audition, Pinocchio, the lead, like all of these things, but were you someone who could learn lines easily? Like, were you a rule follower? Were you like, okay, I'm going to memorize this? Or was it just very natural to you?
Lines have always been like the muscles. I've always been really fortunate that they were natural for me, the funny thing is, it wasn't until I decided that I actually wanted to do it. And there's been other times since then where I'm like, do I actually want to keep doing this? Because you guys both know it's hard.
Yeah. Especially the transition from child to young adult.
Yeah.
That's really where a lot of people have to make the decision.
Yes, that is. Yes. But it's also still just, it's one of the crafts that you have to be invited to do.
Yep.
You can't just do it on, it's not like music. You can play your music. You can sew, carpentry, paint. Those you can do whenever you want. Acting, you have to be invited.
Yep.
Or you have to create your own invitation.
You played young for so long, right? Like you played teenagers when you were much older. And then at some point, I don't know when it was, we could talk about it. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh my God, Ethan's a man. Like, this is a different person, you know?
And you've got to ask, do I want to do it now then too?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
But it wasn't until making that choice, like, do I want to do this, that it became hard.
Right.
Up until then, it was
Interesting.
just something, it was there and it kept going. And it's almost like it kept me doing it. And then as soon as I made the choice, I'm going to keep doing this for now, it became something I had to work at, you know, maybe because it was something I wanted.
Right. And you don't want to take it for granted. You want to give it everything you've got.
Right. Yep.
And also recognizing, I think too, like we're all at that age, like we have been doing this a really long time and you've been doing it a lot. You know, you started really young, but I mean, even as teenagers, I've talked to people and just exactly what you had just said is that, you know, it does get harder and we age into different types of roles where maybe you're not the, you know, one of the top few people on the call sheet. So you're not working as much, but you're being called in and sometimes sitting in a trailer all day. And then you get called in at the 11th hour to quickly run in and do your one scene for that episode. Right. And it's like, I know people who have said, you know, I realized like that I had enough. Like that really,
that wasn't what I wanted to do.
It wasn't as fulfilling to me anymore. And I realized I had other things I wanted to do. Like you just said, being creative in other ways, people who do make that decision. And I fully respect that because you
Which
do.
Which is brave. I totally
brave.
admire it. Yeah.
Very brave. Because we've all had that. Yes.
There's so many ways to be creative in and around the entertainment business. Like 10 years ago, I thought, you know what, I want to write a screenplay. I had been writing and pitching things and nothing was getting made. So I said, you know what, I'm going to go make a film. And it was based on my family, my dysfunctional families. I figured if I'm going to put everything into one project, it's got to be something that no one else could write, a story no one else could tell. Yep. And the most amazing group of actors showed up for me. And, you know, but like what I'm saying is whether it's working the camera or writing or doing voice work, or I'm doing creative direction for brands now, there are ways to be creative and in little pivots you know, with the skills that we've developed.
Sure.
You know?
Yep. That's something, well, first of all, I admire that greatly too. Like the courage to take something, because writing is that's it. That's you. Mm-hmm. For acting, we have other creatives that we are collaborating and completely giving performances over. Like we have no control. So writing, that's brave as shit.
And actors can always blame, the script. It wasn't in the script.
I didn't cut it. I'm not the editor.
I had nothing to do with that. I just showed up and said my lines and they cut me out.
Right? That take.
Yeah. I'm the best thing in a bad film.
But, yeah, that's also something that it kind of is like my reserve, my parachute. I think of that, like if acting doesn't continue, I do know a lot about this industry, and I, unless I do something that completely embarrasses myself, I think that has value, you know?
For sure. Yeah.
The knowledge. We've been in it forever.
Yeah.
You know? But right now it's just still doing the grind, hitting auditions, finding the next job, you know, getting used to being unemployed every other week.
It ebbs and flows, doesn't it? Like it really ebbs. Like when it rains, it pours. And when it's dry, it's really dry.
Yep. I've been really lucky. Like lately, I've been doing a lot of those smaller roles, little cameos or whatever.
Yep.
Well, Alma and the Wolf looks terrifying, dude. I watched the trailer.
It's a comedy too. It's also a comedy.
Oh, I thought it was
I mean,
straight up horror thriller.
That's how they're cutting the trailer. There's a 9-foot wolf puppet in it that's surrounded by a bunch of human-bodied goats. Like,
Oh,
and
whoa.
come on, the director was from Reno 911 and the state. Michael Jan has like a majority comedy background.
I didn't realize.
That is comedy for sure.
Yeah. So I went and saw it with an audience. I hadn't watched it at all, and I flew back to Portland because it was at a film festival, and I knew a lot of the crew would be there because we shot it in Oregon. So I didn't watch any of it, and I went and saw it in a theater with people. And I was counting the last, and there's a solid. I stopped counting like 30 minutes in because I wanted to watch the movie, but like solid 20, like ha ha ha.
But like
So
movies
I was
like
happy.
there are movies like Scream that kind of poke fun at the genre where you're laughing and then you're scared. Like that works.
Yes, Scream
For sure.
I think is like ultimate meta. That's
Right.
because Scream talks about movies, knowing it's a movie while you're watching a movie.
And we're watching the movie, and then in the movie they're watching a movie. Like they're watching the movie Halloween, talking about Halloween.
Yep,
right? Exactly. It is
There's
so meta.
multiple layers.
Yes.
It's so clever.
Yes.
It's so clever.
Yes.
I think the one that they invited me to be a part of might be its most meta.
Which one was that?
Those I got to go do the little things that I've been invited to go do recently, where it's like I'm working 2 or 3 days.
Yep.
But they've been so rad. They've been like such killer invitations.
Tell us.
I love that you I love how you refer to them as invitations, because that's exactly, I've never said that before. I've never even thought about it that way. And you are so right. It is so lovely to be extended an invitation.
Yeah.
Whether it's something that you were invited to read for or not, in some cases.
I think even those are invitations.
That is an invitation. Yes.
Because I'm not acting today, and I have no plans to act tomorrow, but if I get an audition, someone's inviting me to do it.
Right.
Such a great perspective. Yeah.
It is
It's all
such a
how you
great
look at it.
perspective. Yes. And being in gratitude of that. Yes.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Was there a Scream movie that you just did?
I had a small invitation to be a part of Scream 7.
Oh, no way.
Okay.
That's so
I'm
sick.
so jealous.
I know, me
so
too.
jealous.
And God, they're such sweet people, man. They're so, all of them. Like, when we were at the convention, the 90s con in
in
Missouri,
Hartford.
right?
No,
Hartford,
not Missouri.
No, Connecticut. It was
Hartford,
Connecticut. Right? Hartford, Connecticut.
I know there's right.
But a lot of the original Scream cast was there.
Yes, Matthew and Skeet and and Jamie. Was Jamie there?
Jamie,
I think yes.
Jamie was there. Yeah.
Yep.
And the way that they say, like, hey, welcome to the family, like, that's how it was on set, too. Nev is the coolest.
Nev's amazing.
Wow.
Nev is so cool and so smart. Like, and she's paying attention to everything, and she's very mellow.
Yes.
Very kind, give you a hug, big smile. But at the same time, she's paying attention to what they're setting up.
Yes,
what they
the work.
need to get done that day. Yeah, the work. Yeah.
Ethan, I remember when we were doing White Squall, you had just finished Empire Records, and I remember how excited you were about it. And we had Robin on because she's good friends with Christine. But can you talk us through how you got Empire Records and what the experience was like? Because it sounds like a really special project to be a part of.
It was. That was one of those. Because we were like White Squall, we were all in the proximity of the same age,
right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was also filmed on location. As you guys know, when you make a movie on location that has an ensemble cast and everybody clicks, it's just this great little, it's like a camp, you know?
Where were you, in Carolina? One of the Carolinas?
Yeah. Shot in Wilmington, North Carolina. It was the Carol Co. Studios, I want to say.
Oh, yeah.
It's where they did, was it Matlock or Perry Mason? One of those like old shows. It was also the same stage they shot Crow on.
Oh God, where Brandon Lee passed away.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But Wilmington, North Carolina, and then we were all staying on Wrightsville Beach. So they had this beach. Everybody had a little beach home that was walking distance from the other. And the director, Alan Moyle, he's such a sweet dude. And this was the time when we had rehearsals.
Right.
We had like 30 days of rehearsals.
And Robin said that you guys also did like journaling about your characters and you would workshop things and you'd spend, it was really about spending time together and developing these relationships even before you started shooting. That's unheard of now.
Yeah.
Listening to music, just putting together like mixtapes. These are character mixtapes.
So cool.
Yeah, it was great. I was 16 years old. I think I had just turned 16, and it was a really great environment. And the funny thing, I think I can speak for a lot of us in the cast, and I know Alan, the director, had no idea that it had turned into what it is today, because the movie did horribly. They shelved it. They pulled it out of the theaters. I think it was in 4 theaters.
Oh my God, I didn't realize that, because it's like an iconic film now.
And it was all off of the VHS. Like, I think it got a VHS distribution deal finally a couple years after the release even. And it was off of those VHS cassettes that people watched it at home, watched it together, shared the tape.
I mean, just think of the cast, right? Alan Moyle has an eye for talent, for sure. That cast has all gone on to do amazing things.
Yep. Sweet dude. Really sweet. I got to invite him. In Los Angeles, they do the movies in the cemetery.
Yes.
There's the Hollywood Forever Cemetery during the summer on a Saturday night. They bring in 5,000 to 7,000 people. Everybody sets up a picnic blanket and you watch a movie on the mausoleum. And I heard they were doing Empire Records, and Alan, the director, had never seen it with an audience, and he had no idea that it was popular. I called him up. I said, "It's playing. Please come to this. I think it will be something super special for you." He came. And that's where he realized that people have been watching, because nobody tells us.
Right.
Nobody invites us to the Empire Records slumber party thing.
Right. Right. Well, that's what I was saying is about these conventions, and 90s Con is the only one I've experienced, but that is when you're really hearing firsthand the impact or the obsession that people had with certain projects, things that we put out there. And you maybe hear from a couple people, but really when you do it, you mostly just either read that it was either well reviewed or not, whether it did well or not, and then you're kind of on to the next one. But to hear the love affair that people have had with, or the stories of with their grandparents or parents or little sisters. I mean, it's incredible. I feel like
it
that's
makes you
so
appreciate
interesting.
it so much more.
So much.
It takes the involvement in like a popcorn, nothing serious, non-award, not world-changing project, and it gives it a respect and an importance because it means something to someone.
Right.
Well, the idea of the little mom and pop store fighting against the giant chain, that is a theme that I remember. But what do you think about that film that makes it still so relevant and hold up?
I honestly think it's just the 30-year cycle of everything. It just so happened to be popular enough to hit when the 90s were popular.
Right.
So like the kids, meaning the early teens, late teens, are wearing big baggy pants again and like friendship bracelets, so the 90s are big.
That's why we're doing this, buddy.
Well, and also how about the fact that vinyl is big again, right? Like
I know.
Records and
turntables.
That is, yes, that was gone for
tangible
so long.
Media.
And now, yes.
Yeah. I love that tangible media is making a comeback. Because let's be honest, the digital realm is incredible. Look at us.
I know.
Like we're sitting here, we're chatting, we can see each other. Like that's crazy.
Insane.
Right.
It's so futuristic.
It is pretty mind-boggling.
But it's pretty awesome to go. I mean, it's kind of amazing.
AI is going to make all of this look like child's play in a few years, I think.
Yeah, I wonder what it's gonna do.
I don't know. My AI knows me so well. Like it will ask me the next time I log in, how was the interview with Ethan?
Oh my!
I'm
So
not
you're
joking.
really using your AI?
Well,
a lot.
I'll say, Christine and I are interviewing Ethan Embry today.
I wish you would have sent me a text to remind me. It probably knows my phone number. It could have told me yesterday. Hey, dude, don't forget, you're talking to David tomorrow at 1:00.
Right. And mine would tell me, knowing Ethan, he's probably going to forget.
Exactly.
Dude, this leads me to, we have to now, the next project after Empire Records was our collaboration of White Squall. And like, there's too much to really talk about, but let me ask you, what are like highlight memories that you remember from that like very long, meaningful shoot?
I mean, it's us,
For sure.
because I was still 16.
Yeah.
It was the first job my mom left. Like I think I went there by myself. She came out to like get eyes on me and then left.
Right. Did your bro stay?
He came out. I don't think he stayed.
Yeah, he was in
I
and
don't
out.
know.
Yeah,
he was in and out. So it was the experience of us being in this place that I'd never been, like numerous different island nations.
Yeah.
And then the way Ridley works, even if we weren't in a scene that day, he wanted us on the boat because it was going to be an hour boat ride, a speedboat ride for an hour to get out to the set. So every morning we all got up at sunup and had breakfast on the beach that was cooked out of a charcoal oil drum.
Yeah, the smell. I remember
man.
that.
And got on those
So
speedboats and raced out to set. And then we were either just laying on the bow net together, climbing rope ladders. And then they'd say, hey, Ethan, we need you in the back of this shot. So you'd go run and be in the background.
Yeah, it was all hands on deck. All day, every day. And you couldn't really ask, you couldn't even say, I'm not in the afternoon scenes. Can I get a ride?
back?
Right. While Ridley's hanging off the side of the boat.
No, you're on the boat all day.
I was just going to ask, as a 16, because David, how old were you? 19, 20? How?
I was about 20, 21. Yeah.
Okay. Because listening back to when you guys all came on, I think Jeremy said he was 19 and Ryan was 19. And Ethan, did you feel like everyone's little brother, or did you feel like you were already sort of aged into that from just having worked so much?
They immediately, I mean, whether it was maybe, I don't know how they viewed me, but I never felt like I was the youngest.
Right.
No, you were one of us. I mean, because you were a wise 16-year-old. You were smart, and you had
savvy.
A mean joint.
Oh my goodness gracious!
He'd been around the block a few times.
I was gonna say Pachiville.
Yeah, which is in Malta. It's like the block of all the nightclubs.
Yeah.
I mean, the things that when I say White Squall, the things I remember the most are on the boat, hanging out in between the work. I don't remember any of the work. I remember the hanging out. And then as we talk more, things like Pachiville start coming back into focus.
Yeah. No, I feel like we're almost fraternity brothers in that, like, there's a bond when you do a shoot like that, because we're together every day for months and months. Like, even if I don't see you or Wolf or Jeremy for a long time, like, I know you guys.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep. And even if we've changed as adults, I think because of the time in our lives that we all met, it's in that transitional phase. Like, we were children, but we were turning into adulthood.
There's a shorthand. I had texted Scott Wolf to come back on the show, and he just writes back, Lasher Pino. And I wrote back, I wrote back Wolfachino. We all like adopted Italian accents because we were in Malta for so long.
And I think we were also making fun of Balthazar too.
Oh yeah.
Balthazar Geppi.
I was telling Christine that he was for sure our fearless leader. Like,
Yeah.
we would have followed that guy anywhere. I remember.
Yeah.
Whatever his idea was, like, all right, let's
do it.
Yeah, let's follow Balti.
Because he has this like cool, calm, in like, it's the opposite of me where everything is like externalized and in movement and expression. But he has the same energy that's all internalized.
He is innately cool and just comfortable with himself. I mean, he's an old soul or something.
Yeah, he is like a little old Italian man.
Yeah. But man, like, when I say Beaufort, South Carolina, what do you think?
Ooh. Am I allowed to?
Yeah, why not, man? We were kids.
There was one time we all went in a taxi and we ended up at a gas station. And as we were leaving the gas station to get back into the taxi, a 40 came flying over my head and hit the door frame of the taxi and exploded. Yeah. And I remember Balti just going in. We went to the bad part of Beaufort.
Yeah.
Which was also my first experience with, because I grew up in LA. LA likes to say that it's this like progressive, like bastion of equality.
Oh, right.
So you don't, right. Mm-hmm. You don't see it. It's not on the surface.
Mm-hmm.
But when I went to Beaufort, I immediately noticed that the main street was Division and the streets into the nice neighborhood, Sunnyside, Dreamland, Sugarcane, and the streets into the rough part of town, Adventure, Trespass. And there were literally cemeteries on opposing sides of Division. And one was beautiful and pristine, and one was overgrown. And I had never seen that, you know, a Piggly Wiggly versus a Publix. Like,
oh my God. Yeah. The Piggly Wiggly.
Wiggly.
Late at night. That was a sketchy place to be. I remember.
I had never seen that before.
Yeah.
And
neither had I.
Living in Atlanta, it's kind of, I almost respect that more because it's just there. You know, it's not.
It's transparent. It's just right. Yes, what you see is what you get.
Yes. As opposed to like a hypocrisy, like other cities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like LA and nobody acknowledging why there's Thai Town and Little Tokyo and what they did to Chavez Ravine. Like those are red lines, guys. Like it's not perfect here either.
Right.
But
right.
Let's not go there. We don't want to go there. We don't want
Yeah, no. I mean, the fact that Skid Row still exists is like sort of like mind-boggling.
God bless LA. I love it. It's home. You know?
Yeah.
LA is home. I miss my family there. I'm incredibly impressed by my son to be able to live there and continue to support himself and his family. Like, God bless him. He's such a good dude. It's just hard, and I wish it wasn't.
How old is your son?
26.
Oh, wow.
And grandbaby is how old?
Grandbaby's 7 months old now.
Oh, my
Little
gosh.
Valentine Blue.
Congrats.
Thanks,
amazing.
And you guys have kids too, right? How many kids do you have, Christine?
I have two, 23 and almost 20.
Amazing. In school still, or are they out of school?
The older one graduated college and the younger one finished his first year of college. So
awesome.
yes. So
great.
Yeah.
Great.
So
Dope.
it's starting to feel empty nesty, starting to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still doing
are they
some
still
laundry.
At home or no? They're still at home?
But they're no. They're both my daughter's in her own place in New York and my son's moving into his first place with a roommate.
But they bring their laundry home.
I get a lot of laundry drop-offs still, which I'm a sucker.
Like
I can't say
time
no.
to learn how to sew.
I was going to
Sounds
say.
like the perfect time to get a sewing machine.
You can send me some tutorials here.
Absolutely could. Absolutely. You're in the right city for it.
Yes.
And David, you have how many kids you got?
I have 3. I have a 22-year-old daughter, a 20-year-old son, and a 15-year-old daughter. But we've spent a lot of time in the South. My daughter just graduated from Tulane, so we spent a lot of time in New Orleans. And my son is at UT Austin. He just finished his sophomore year, so so our 2 visitation cities are New Orleans and Austin. And we've all learned to just love the South.
I really love it too.
So many reasons. I mean, the people, they're just friendly and relaxed and slower paced. The food, the music, the culture.
Yep.
I love it.
New Orleans is a special place. There's no city like that.
I agree. It's got so much soul.
So cool. Yes.
Christine, have you hung out in New Orleans?
Only a couple times, literally twice in my life. But I keep feeling like it is one of those places that if you live here in the U.S., like it seems like I don't know why we don't visit there more often. I feels like it's such I just shot in Montreal recently, and that was my first time spending time there. And I was like, this
Also
is
cool.
so close to New York. It's a drive, 5-hour drive from New York, and it feels so European. It feels like that. It reminded me of New Orleans from the little time.
Oh, right. It's French
there.
also, right?
It's also French. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. I break the 3 coastal southern historic cities in the United States: Charleston, Savannah, and New Orleans, because they all have that similar sort of European coastal American vibe.
Oh yeah, we spent a couple weeks in Charleston on White
We
Squall.
did. We were in Charleston too.
Yeah. Oh, I love that city.
Charleston is like the Better Homes and Gardens. Martha Stewart, like very, very, very pristine and beautiful. It has a rough side also, but Savannah, because the school is there, it has a creative influence to it. There's all these art things happening. And then New Orleans is just like, whoa.
That says it all. It is. There's always a party in New Orleans. Like you'll walk out of a restaurant and there's just a marching band going down the street for no reason,
Yep. Special place.
So let's talk about that thing you do. Oh, sorry.
No. I was going to say the one, I want to know the order of that thing you do and Can't Hardly Wait, of which came first of those, because I like to share in these podcast interviews that we do all the things that I auditioned for that I didn't get that our guest got. Yes, of course.
Which one?
Empire Records, didn't get it.
Okay.
I auditioned for
Renee, or
I think it was for it was not Liv? Robin's part. It was probably the Liv part. And it was, she was Liv, and it was, and I auditioned for that thing you do. For the Charlize, and I met with Tom.
Oh no, for Charlize.
Charlize, yes. I remember meeting with Tom, and that was
amazing.
Like, whether or not I got the part, I didn't care, because I was like, got to sit in an office with Tom and talk about
Santa Monica, if I remember correctly,
in
right?
Santa Monica, exactly. Right. I remember.
Wait, what is it like to audition for Tom Hanks?
My experience was like, he was the nicest, most engaging.
Oh, wow.
It was exactly what I would have imagined it to be. Like really sort of just dispelled, like, don't be nervous, and chatted first for a long time. And because I had done the Brady Bunch movie, and his wife, Rita, was did an episode of the original Brady Bunch TV show. We talked about the Brady Bunch, and he made me feel very comfortable. And then I auditioned. So awesome. I thought I did great, but Charlize is Charlize, so it's okay.
And there wasn't like, if I remember, there wasn't like a long line of other people auditioning.
No.
It felt very private, like a meeting.
Yes. Like a curated list of people that he was meeting with. And yes.
Yeah. I remember I brought my bass to it. I had a bass that was just absolutely tagged up with like disgusting pictures and handwriting all over it. And I just brought that in. So when I was meeting with him, I was just like, bah, 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 bah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Did you play the bass, or you taught yourself for the audition?
No, I had played before. I would never call myself a bass player though. That like, cause I can't write a bass line. I can write a guitar progression.
But enough to know how to hold it and look like you're playing on camera.
Musical. Yeah. You're musical.
Yeah, if someone
Yeah.
shows me a bass line, I can play it. There's not that. Bass players have a specific thing in their soul. The rhythm section entirely, drummers and bass players.
Mm-hmm.
There's something inside of them that separates the rest of us.
Yes, you're
And
right.
that doesn't
you're
exist
right.
in me. I can impersonate, but I am definitely not one of.
So how was that? So
yeah,
that your process was that you went in, you brought it in, and you just kind of fiddled while you chatted, and
Yep. Because he didn't even have much dialogue, really. You know, I don't think I could remember the scene that I did with him, because there wasn't really a scene back and forth with that character. It really was one of those just like presence characters.
Was it, how many auditions was it? Because it was really 4 leads. Was it a whole process, or did he know right away?
For me, that was it. I met with him and that was it.
Oh my God. Wow.
I'm sure his process was longer. I'm sure he met with a lot of people.
Right.
And it was the first thing he was directing, right? It was I just remember it being a big deal because it was like Tom Hanks was directing a movie, right? So,
and that's another one of those that like we had no idea because it wasn't a big success. It didn't do great domestically in the box office. But like you were mentioning at the conventions, people come up to you and tell you, and that movie is so special to so many people. And you hear the stories of like what it meant to their dad who got sick, and they would watch it when they were recovered. Like you hear all these lovely stories, and it makes me respect the movie so much.
Yeah. And the song, by the way, I haven't watched the movie in years, and we just say those words, and now it's in my head.
You can hear it.
Already. Yes. Yeah. 100%.
Schlesinger, man. And that
so
song
catchy.
drove me absolutely crazy when I was a kid, you know? Because it's not the type of music I would put on my playlist. Like I had so much animosity for that song.
Doing that thing you do.
It's
breaking my heart into
a million
pieces.
I should go get my bass.
Right.
It wasn't punk rock for
no,
sure.
It wasn't.
No, it wasn't punk rock. I was like, we're the Who. And Tom's like, we're not the Who.
Right.
One of the other things that bring me love for that project during the pandemic, Adam, the songwriter, was one of the first of notoriety to pass away. He was in New York and he died in the very early stages of the pandemic.
Oh no.
And Steve, I believe it was Steve Zahn and Everett Scott that were talking, and we're like, we should do something. And they came up with this idea. Everett Scott's brother-in-law is a techie dude. And he figured out a way to set up a YouTube show where we did commentary. Like we couldn't show the movie, but we could do commentary of the movie. And if everybody pushed play at the same time, we could do a live commentary of that thing you do. So all of us got together, did it. We had Colin Hanks came in. Like he was the clutch because he came in and talked about things that Tom Hanks couldn't do it because he was in quarantine at the time. Remember, he got sick in the early stages down in Australia too.
Yes.
Right.
But Colin came on and gave all of these incredible stories about like what he witnessed with his dad and the true stories of these things we had heard. But what those other gentlemen put together and organized, we raised a lot of money for Music Cares, which is a music-based charity program. That was really special. Mondo, this great company that does limited release movie memorabilia and music memorabilia, they got the rights to do the vinyl pressing of the That Thing You Do soundtrack.
Oh,
that's
fantastic.
Cool.
So they auctioned off, they had the original test, the original wax test, and they auctioned that off. That was a really great because we're all isolated. I mean, I'm sure you guys know even more than I do being in New York, but those first few weeks, and then to do something with the four of us and the people that came in for something that's so joyful like that movie. It was really nice. It was really great.
While everyone else feels so hopeless and like helpless,
isolated.
Yeah, you put something beautiful out there.
They did. I can't take credit. I just showed up where I was invited.
Yeah. You were invited. And did Can't Hardly Wait come before or after that?
That came after. It must have come at you. Yes. So I think the order for the 90s things, Empire Records,
right?
Squall, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then after Squall, or was it Empire Records and then That Thing You Do? Or was it Empire Records Squall? Empire Records Squall. Then I think That Thing You Do. Yeah,
I have Vegas Vacation on here, Mr.
Vegas
Papa
was
Giorgio.
right after. That was right after That Thing You Do, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're standing toe to toe with Chevy Chase too, another legend. I mean,
I was just doing a bad Anthony Michael Hall impression.
Oh, right. I forgot someone
from the
else
original.
had played. Yes, yeah.
Oh man, that dude. Like if you were a young comedic actor and did not absolutely idolize that man,
Anthony Michael Hall.
He was like the youngest cast member of Saturday Night Live. Like what?
Yeah. No, iconic. 16 Candles, Breakfast Club.
All of those incredible John Hughes movies. Edward Scissorhands. Like that was where he came out as like, I'm now Anthony Michael Hall. And he played the big mean jock in Scissorhands.
Right.
You
and
know?
didn't he also do like Johnny Be Good or something with Downey, with Robert Downey, where he was like the football star. And that was when he was starting to get a little like, he grew some muscles. Yes, exactly.
Because, like those guys are in us, and when everybody sees us as this other thing, we're like, but that's not me. So then we really embrace.
Well, if you want to get out of the nerd stereotype, you go put on 50 pounds of muscle, right? I mean, it makes sense.
Oh, look at that. And you get tatted up. There you go. And by the way, and then you just start sewing after it all.
You learn to
after
sew.
you do all of that, right?
Yeah. Let me tell you, watch your fingers, man. That hurts.
You're underselling working a sewing machine because I've heard it's very challenging. But I want to say because I had not seen Can't Hardly Wait for some reason. You know how like there's just movies that you feel like you've seen it, and then like with White Squall, the same thing for me. Yeah. I had seen so many sort of cuts and snippets and things, and then when we had all of you guys on, Ben and I watched the whole thing, and we were like,
"It's a good movie too.
Such a good movie.
Yeah, it's very pretty. It's beautiful."
I had no idea it was a true story either. I mean, it was just such a good movie. And I just watched Can't Hardly Wait. And I was like, I got to see this movie because Deb Kaplan is a friend, and Deb and Harry wrote a Very Brady sequel. It was like they were very 90s also. But you were like the full leading dude in that movie. Like that was so, I mean, I know it's very ensemble and it's very
ensemble,
very music
based.
And
he's still the underdog. He's like,
Yes, but still it was
which
so
I had to make
sweet.
My argument. They wanted me to do, Charlie Korsmo's character. When I auditioned for it, they're like
the sort of super nerd, I mean, it was all the stereotypes, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to make my argument that that the character of Preston has to be more underdog identifiable at the beginning, so that at the end, when he does get the girl that he stalks since grade school, like, yo,
by the way,
guys,
I was gonna say, when you watch it now, it is
you're
a bit
stalker,
of a
bro.
It is a little bit of a stalker story. But you make it work because it's
Being
you.
a woman in the 90s was hard.
And then at the end, by the way, too, it's like you guys don't even know each other. It's a full makeout session at the.
Don't even know each other. Yeah. So stalking pays off, gentlemen.
Exactly. I was going to say Well, and you wrote a nice letter. You wrote a really nice letter that got her. Like that
That he
reeled her
kept
in
for
too.
4 years and carried around with him, right? I just watched
so
it too.
Good though.
I watched
loved
it
it.
for the first time last night too. For some reason, I had never seen it, and you know, everyone else is spinning around with like, you know, major comedy. Seth Green's freaking hilarious, and
Yeah, he's great.
the girl
absurd in that movie.
whose
So
house
funny.
Ambrose.
Yes. Yes.
everyone is doing their shtick, and you are the heart of the
Yes.
movie.
Yes.
You're the
I
one the
appreciate that.
audience relates to, and like, and yeah, you could say
Because
serial
we've all
killer, but
stalked someone before.
yeah, no, we've all romanticized a girl. We've all put a girl
Right.
up on the pedestal that's ungettable, that we've never told how we feel. You know, at that age, right? It's it's a very relatable thing, and I feel like I was just rooting for you so much.
Same. Same.
Well, that's Deb and Harry, you know?
Yes.
And I've never worked with two directors since. It was the only time I had ever done it, and I haven't done it since. And they did 2 films, right? Did they do Josie and the Pussycats
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
they co-directed that also. Yep.
It's very impressive, knowing what a director entails to be able to share that. And
Yeah, that partnership seems very, very special, and I know they're still working together and writing together, and it's really like they've spanned. They'd be really good guests, David. They're so smart and funny. And fun.
No, they're so talented.
Lovely
I
people.
love it.
Yeah,
and the Betty Thomas and Gino Topping, who they were the producers. They had a company called Tall Trees at the time.
yes, because Betty directed the first Brady Bunch movie, and Jenno produced
Really?
it.
There you
Yes.
go. There you go.
Yes.
So you know how great these ladies are, and how I think, yes, hats off to Deb and Harry and what they accomplish as
Right.
creatives. But under would tutelage be the right use?
That's an incredible use of the word tutelage.
Betty and Jenna. Gino? Is
Yeah,
it
Jenno. Yeah, Jenno.
Yeah, Jenna. Having them there as a support, I think, gave them the best chance to accomplish that. So I think the 4 of them, like, what is it that makes this another movie that did not do good in the box office? Like, people still have a draw to it, even though it doesn't stand up to today's standards with stalking. And I think it's what those 4 people did and made. I think the 4 of them deserve all the credit for that one.
Yeah, when people talk about teen movies, that is in the conversation with the great teen movies. I loved it. I enjoyed it last night.
David, that is so funny because I watched it last night too. Look at us. Look at us with our preparation.
No, because I can't believe I hadn't seen the movie.
Same.
I'm sure I
Exactly.
auditioned for it as well, and I know half the cast. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. That movie holds up. I
The
guess
colors stand out to me in my mind when I think of Can't Hardly Wait, because it was the end of the 90s.
Yes.
I believe it was 98 or 99. It was as we were leaving the 90s, like grungy, everything's over baggy, and going into the colors of the early aughts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the things that make you go, phase.
Yeah.
That's so great. Also, David and I, before you came on, were talking about how much we love Grace and Frankie and how great you are in that show too. Like that was just so. I mean, for me, that was also that moment of like that was a moment for me. I was like, you're like a man and you're such a layered character. It was so cool. I mean,
It is.
That show, I thought was so
great.
brilliantly
Yeah, it was
written,
Yep.
brilliantly cast from the kids to the husbands, those two together. And it was one of those shows where I was like, I'll give it a try. I don't know if it's going to be up my, and I fell in love. I mean, binge. Loved it. Great work in that.
I think it came at a great time, you know, like right at the start of the streaming era. I think before that, it had only been Orange is the New Black. I think that was the only other like Netflix show,
right?
If I'm not mistaken. And just what there's the three ladies for that, which is Jane, Lily, and Marta.
Yes.
Marta Kaufman, who was co-creator of Friends. Yeah.
Yep. And then bringing in Sam and Martin and what they brought to it, like
can I just
Sam and Martin.
I just want to specify for our listeners who don't know, we're talking about Lily Tomlin, Jane Fonda, Sam Waterston, Martin Sheen, and Marta Kaufman as the creator, who's created the show Friends. I mean, what Lily Tomlin and Jane Fonda are forces of nature in themselves. To have them both together on the same screen, on the same set, I don't know. Was it like a magical experience?
It's terrifying.
Really?
Was it intimidating?
Yes. It's
Tell
very
us
intimidating.
why.
Well, because you're like, you're there. You just don't want to cause any disruption at all. You know, I want to show up, I want to do my job, and I want to go home. And if I'm lucky enough to hear Martin and Sam telling a story of theater in the 70s in New York, I will sit and laugh and listen, and then I'm going to get out before Lily or Jane yells at me.
That is so perfect, dude. So perfect.
Isn't it so funny that you can be in the business for this long and then you get a job like that, which seemingly is this dream job, and you still have that, you go back to that like little boy of like living in fear of these
an excitement
icons, you know, really iconic women, right?
Yeah.
I just love it.
I just
living in fear of them yelling at you.
Because I knew what I had, you know?
Yeah.
And I knew the insignificance of my contribution.
No. That's a complex character, man. You did a great job.
Coyote, right?
Yeah. I guess some people ask me if I take work home, and I don't know. But when I look back at doing that for 7 seasons, I was really happy at home. Mm-hmm. So the thing, ignorance is bliss. I guess I do take my work because I was just playing an idiot for 7 years.
That's so great.
Yeah, it was very lucky. Those are the jobs you dream of. It was my first time I'd been on a show for numerous seasons. And the life I have now is only because they continue to invite me back for that. And yeah.
Well, you deserve it, man. You deserve it all. You deserve the work and you deserve to be happy. And it makes me happy to see you doing so well and looking so healthy and happy. It really does.
Yes.
This lens, you got to get Zeiss lenses, man.
Yeah, this lens is like, I love it.
Look at
something is really good. It's you know, it is really good with like
a 35 millimeter.
It looks like we're shooting a documentary. It looks like we're shooting a documentary. Yeah, well, it's all working.
I saw your Instagram post about how there's a new video element. So I was like, fucking step up.
You took us to another level, dude.
Come on. This is awesome. This was amazing. Thank you for coming on. It's been such a treat getting to know you.
Likewise. Thank you for inviting me out. It's lovely to see you again, David. Both of you, if you're ever in Atlanta, reach out. We'll go grab some chicken together. I'll show you the good spots. Yeah.
Awesome.
I love how you're like 50 and you still feel like you were when you were 19. It's great. It's fucking great.
Wow, that was so cool.
How great is he? I mean, he just has the most infectious personality, laugh. He has such an incredible perspective on life, on work.
Yeah, you know what? The adjectives that come to mind are genuine and authentic. There's not a phony bone in his body. He's not trying to be anything other than what he is, and he's so comfortable with himself. Like he's just, it makes me so happy. Like I told him, to see him look so good and seem so happy.
And sewing. I mean, that's the coolest. I'm very, very jealous of the sewing.
So am I. It's like one of those hobbies.
Yes.
Like
it's not,
knitting. Like, don't people.
I mean, that's knitting I've done, and that's really like therapeutic. But I feel like he showed us a pair of jeans he sewed that looked like he could definitely sell his stuff. I'm not kidding. That might be his next.
Those
He
jeans
might have
were
an
cool.
Etsy shop. A little Ethan, a double E Etsy, a triple E.
I need to find a hobby where I just like lose time and just get engulfed in it, you know,
and make gifts for people too. That was awesome. I love that you guys have so much history, and I've loved just how cool getting to know him a little bit, because he really was like in and around everything in the 90s. Like I mean, we talked about a few of the things, but it was almost like every movie, like he was just always in movies and just
you think
always
of the
good.
people he's worked with. Like I forgot, he said his first movie was Defending Your Life,
right,
with Albert Brooks and Meryl Streep. Then Dutch with Ed O'Neill, Reese Witherspoon, Far Off Place, Empire Records, you know that cast.
Right.
White Squall, Ridley Scott, Tom Hanks, Chevy Chase, Can't Hardly Wait. I mean, like,
I know.
He's pretty much worked with everybody.
Yes.
All the legends.
Such a good 90s guest.
Yep.
Well, thanks everybody for listening.
We have another great show next week. I'm so excited. These are just... We're catching steam, Christine.
We're catching some steam.
It's getting better
exciting.
and better. Follow us on Hey Dude, at Hey Dude, the 90s Called. You could watch us on YouTube. Feel free to share these episodes with anyone you think might want to travel back to the 90s with us. And subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
And what I've heard about subscribing is that you just hit the little button where it like check marks that you're doing. Because I was like, how do you subscribe to a podcast? And then everybody told me you just hit that little button and then it gives like a thumbs up or a check mark or something.
I thought it was foolproof, but apparently not.
Well, it's probably easier. I'm not the one to be bragging about how to do these things. I'm sure everybody knows how to subscribe.
You hit the button that says subscribe.
No. Okay. Goodbye, everybody. Come back next week. Bye.
Yay Media Group.